Coming up, we're going to be talking about the Marvels trailer. We'll also be talking about Rennervations, the Mandalorian, and much more. But before we go any further, make sure you do hit that subscribe button to keep up with the latest Disney Plus news. So let's jump into it first off with the big news of the first trailer for the Marvels has been released. So this film is going to be hitting cinemas on the 10th of November. Expect it to arrive then on Disney Plus later next year. This trailer was pretty much close to what we saw at the D23 Expo back in September, so what I saw wasn't anything particularly too new to me, but it's great that it's now out there. I can't believe it's taken this long to get there, but obviously the film did get delayed. It was supposed to be coming out in July. They pushed it back to November, so that probably then delayed the trailer. I thought it looked fantastic. Lots of humour in there, which is what you want to see when you got like Miss Marvel in there. Just the fact of them like flipping and stuff. The whole idea of just like Miss Marvel just flipping through space and then just suddenly meeting Nick Fury, and she's so excited and thinks she's getting kind of is there her test to get into the Avengers. I thought that's great. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to this one. I love all the characters. Captain Marvel was a fantastic film. I really enjoyed that one, and this obviously will, I think, lead on from whatever happens in Secret Invasion, which is coming up on Disney Plus in June. But I thought the trailer just looks a lot of fun. And that's what I want. I want a little bit of fun from Marvel. And yeah, so this one definitely hit the point. But let me know what you thought of the Marvels trailer in the comments below. Disney's also released a brand new trailer for the Australian Disney Plus original series Matildas, The World at Our Feet, which is an inspiring and intimate behind the scenes look at the Matildas, Australia's women's national football team, which is going to be premiering around the world on Disney Plus on the 26th of April. It has all the elements in here that you'd expect, you know, the conflict between like the team members, also just the pressure of going to a World Cup, the issues it has on the family, issues it has on relationship, and also the whole thing between women's sort of football and men's football and pay disputes and stuff like that. So yeah, so if you're into Australian football or just into football as a whole or soccer, you're going to want to check this one out when it arrives later this month. Personally, I won't be checking it out. I've got no interest really in soccer at all, so I might watch an episode just to see what it's like, but it's not very high on my list. But it's nice to have these kind of things on there, especially if you're a fan of soccer. But if you're going to be watching it, let me know. We also got a brand new poster for the upcoming Disney Plus original series, The Muppets Mayhem, which is coming out on May the 10th. So this poster just sees them all in a VW van. So there you got the band in there. Obviously you got Animal and Dr. Teeth and all the rest of it. I'm really looking forward to this show. It's going to be interesting to see how all this works. Is it going to work? Is it not? Because if this doesn't, then the Muppets are probably going to get put back on the shelf for a while until they try and work out how to use these characters in the 21st century, because it's been a little bit hit and miss with what they've been doing. I thought the Muppets movie was great, but yeah, some of the other stuff has been a little bit hit and miss. But yeah, so if you're excited about the Muppets, let me know in the comments below. With it being Wednesday, let's now talk about what's new on Disney Plus today. There's quite a lot of stuff. So we had Rennervations. So this is a brand new series which sees Jeremy Renner, who you might know as Hawkeye, kind of getting a team together to do up like old buses and stuff and give them a makeover to kind of make them useful, and then they get given to a charity. So there was supposed to have been 4 episodes, but only 3 have been released today. Not sure why that was. There was a big premiere last night as well. I'm going to share my thoughts on this series in a bit. But also today we got a brand new episode of The Mandalorian. So this is the penultimate episode. I'm going to be talking about that in a minute too. Thankfully for this one, I watched it again this morning, but I did actually watch it last week at Star Wars Celebration. We got to see it in front of a big crowd, so I want to get into that one. But what an episode. Yes, 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 yes. Also today there was some other new releases as well. Plenty of new Star originals got released, including Wrap Caviar in Australia and the UK, while in Australia and Canada they got Love Trip Paris. Here in the UK and in Canada, we got some new international originals, including Atom Last Shot and The First Responders, along with Pandora Beneath the Paradise. While in Australia, New Zealand and Canada, they got all 6 seasons of Justified. That one came to the UK earlier this month. I need to check that one out. That's definitely high on the things I need to watch. That's in addition to new episodes of shows like Family Guy and Grey's Anatomy here in the UK. So lots of great stuff there. Also here in the UK and in Australia, New Zealand and Ireland, we did get the Jeremy Renner interview that came up on Disney Plus in the US and Canada last week. Nice to see it on there. But yes, it's been a nice collection of stuff to be added today. But let me know what you're going to be watching in the comments below or on social media. Let's now shift gears and let's talk now about those new shows. So Rennervations. So I watched 2 episodes of the 3 this morning. To be honest, kind of got the gist of it. I kind of always knew that this wasn't going to be a show that I was really into, because Generally kind of like these kind of charitable kind of shows, to me it always just comes across sometimes as a little bit more about the presenter kind of trying to, or whoever's doing it, of trying to show how great they are, when in reality they could have just given them the money and we didn't have to have this TV series. I do question the idea of putting it in a van. You know, could they not have done that in a proper location and spent the money there, and then it would have been permanent, probably with better security. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it was a lot of fluff. If you like these kind of things, you might be alright, but for me, it just was like, meh, just very bland. You probably could watch it in about 5-10 minutes. The introduction was nearly 7-8 minutes. It just took ages to get going. Jeremy Renner's obviously got a lot of heart in the right place, and he seems to have got a real obsession with collecting kind of big tank sort of buses and trucks and stuff. Don't know why. The whole idea of them bringing in a kind of a friend to help, literally they just turn up in the last 5 seconds and hand the key to the people. It's like, what was the point? Jeremy Renner could have done that. It just seemed unnecessary of why they did that one there, to give it a little bit of bonus. But yeah, so there we go. So it wasn't for me. Very meh. I don't really quite get what the point of it was. Obviously, there was just so many people involved, and they just feel like, you know, they could have spent that money in a lot better ways than kind of trying to just rig up these old buses. They could have just put it in a proper location. He could have brought an actual premises and given it to the charity, and they could have had some assets, and rather than a bus that they're going to have to try and keep running, and it's going to be very expensive. I don't know. It's just a bit odd. Let's now talk about The Mandalorian. So I'm going to try and keep this one a little bit spoiler free. So as I said, I got to see this one last week in a crowd of about 4,500 people in the Celebration Hall. You know, we had all the actors come out. We had Jon Favreau, so it kind of made it rather cool. It did feel very much like a kind of it felt a little bit like a movie, because there was so much special effects, loads of stuff. I love the fact that Grogu gets this little walk-along vehicle to go in, and the little buttons. I thought that was fantastic. Loads of action, loads of Mandalorian stuff. Easily the best episode of the series. Loved it. Cannot wait till next week's one. I just wish we had more episodes like this. I know they had to build up to it, but yeah, it definitely, this series has been a little bit bumpy, and I'm hoping this one, a lot of people are really enjoying it online. I thought it was really good. Yeah, just there was so much of this that I really enjoyed. I still don't trust the armourer. I'm still not entirely sure what she's up to. Obviously seeing Moff Gideon back, there was a little hint there at something coming up, which I think is going to be the big event for the crossover film that's going to be coming, with like all these characters coming together. Just fantastic. This is a highlight, definitely worth checking out this weekend. Caleb asked in our question of the day, why must the best shows always end after season 3? Now, I would say kind of the idea of saying the best shows probably isn't necessarily the kind of correct way of looking at this. Generally, obviously, we've just heard that the Bad Batch is going to be ending after the 3rd season. A lot of this is down to costs. When shows get into higher season numbers, they are generally more expensive to make because they're a proven hit, and they've got to have to renegotiate deals and stuff, so they generally cost more to make. But also, generally the viewing numbers are lower than when they would have started. It's very hard then to get new people in on the show. So money for money side of things, you could use this money on another show that's brand new and pull in maybe a bigger audience and take up the roll of the dice. Now, I'm glad that, like with the Bad Batch, that they are kind of just saying this is the 3rd and final season. You know, let it get out there so we know, it prepares us, you know, a year or two in advance, that we know it's going to happen. We've got the same thing obviously happening with Andor. I think it's a very good way, and also then it gives the writers a chance to close the story, because there's nothing worse than a show just ending and we never get the conclusion. So I like the fact that we do at least get that one. But a lot of this is down to costs that come involved, and at the 4th season level, are they really going to get much more new people in, new subscribers, new viewers, or has it just been, if it's just been slowly declining, season 4, if it's just going to do it? But it depends. Some shows, you know, like Grey's Anatomy, can keep going for decades because, you know, there's still that level, but it's still lower than it was at the beginning, but it's still got enough that it's still profitable. But obviously with streaming shows, it's a little bit more difficult. But yeah, so that's a lot of the reasons why. It's just the costs versus viewing numbers and all the rest of it. Just maybe, the thing is, after 3 seasons is often we're more connected to it, and that's always a little bit more tricky. But definitely interesting. Yeah, great question. So let me have any questions for tomorrow's video. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below on that one. Let me know what you're going to be watching today on Disney Plus as well, and what you thought of all the news. And on that note, guys, thank you very much for watching. Go check us out over at whatsondisneyplus.com. Like, follow, and subscribe. And I shall see you guys in another video. Laters.